Bradford City continue their 2025-26 League One campaign with an away clash against Darren Ferguson's Peterborough United, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season, what my starting 11 would be for this game if I was Graham Alexander. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. But my team Bradford City, we currently sit 4th in the League One table. After 4 matches we've got 3 wins, 1 draw and 0 defeat, scoring 6 goals and conceding 3, which leaves us on a positive 3 goal difference and 10 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a draw and a win. Them last couple of matches then being a 2-1 win away at Stockport County. Certainly a tale of 2 halves. First half we were absolutely battered. Stockport played some of the best football I've seen Bradford City play against in a number of years. They were so much so the better side against us, and the goal that we concede as well just comes from our own mistake, choosing to play out from the back, and we just give the ball away a bit cheaply. But Stockport were outstanding in that first half. Half time we made a couple of changes, changed the formation slightly as well, got a couple of goals as well taken from Swan and Sarcevic, and we went away to Stockport and won. Not many teams will go away to Stockport this season and win. I think they'd, out of their last 11 home games at Edgeley Park, they'd won 10 and drawn the other one. And we went there and picked up a 2-1 victory. Absolutely outstanding, and yeah, a brilliant 3 points. We also had a 2-1 win at home to Luton Town. Again, a very good performance. 2 well-taken goals from Humphreys and Poynton in that one. Yes, we had less possession, but we set the traps, we pressed well. We conceded a pretty sloppy goal with 5 minutes left on the clock, but way more shots on target as well than at Luton, and we thoroughly did deserve the 3 points. We also had a 2-1 win away at Blackburn Rovers and missed both of our goals because of how early they were, and there was a cow on the motorway. Blackburn pulled a goal back just before half time, and yeah, they had more of the ball, they had more shots, they were piling the pressure on in the second half, but Sam Walker made a fair few decent saves again in that one. We also had a frustrating 0-0 draw away at Northampton, obviously one of Peterborough's rivals. We had more than enough chances in this game to win it. Curtis Tilt hit the post, Sarcevic had a great opportunity, Power had one cleared off the line as well, but it just unfortunately wasn't our day on that occasion. And we also started the season with a 2-1 win at home to Wycombe Wanderers. A great way to begin, obviously beating a team who were in the League One playoff semi-finals last campaign. Again, they dominated possession, but we came out of the traps flying. 2 goals in the opening quarter of an hour, and we've had an absolutely outstanding start to the season. I don't think anybody would have expected us to get 10 points from our opening 4 matches, beat a championship side in the cup as well. We've been absolutely flying, whereas Peterborough United, they are the complete opposite end of the spectrum. They are bottom of the table, 24th in League One at this moment in time. After 4 matches, they've got 0 wins, 0 draws and 4 defeats, scoring just the 1 goal, which was a penalty on the opening day. They've conceded 7, it leaves them on a -6 goal difference and 0 points. Their last couple of matches then have been a loss, a loss, a loss and a loss. In terms of them last couple of matches then, they had a 1-0 defeat at home to Barnsley on Tuesday night, where they were completely outplayed from the start to finish. Caelan Vickers scoring the only goal of the game, although his strike from outside the box did take a deflection, I think, off of David Kagbu, but Peterborough have just offered very little so far this campaign. And looking at their lineup, they're now bringing in players like Lolos and Lisby, who I think are better than some of the players that were starting at the beginning of the campaign. But when you think about the Peterborough squad that was there a couple of years ago, you know, they think the likes of Ronnie Edwards and Josh Knight and Burrows and Poku, Mason Clark, these sort of players. They had Johnson Clark-Harris as well at one point, scoring loads of goals, to now what they've got. There might be a load of potential in this team, but goodness me, there is a serious lack of League One quality at this moment in time. In terms of just before that game then, they had a 2-0 defeat away at Wigan Athletic. Again, they were pretty poor in this one. Wigan allowed Peterborough to have possession and they were having loads of shots, but just lacked a real ability to create something clear-cut. Both of their goals are so poor defensively, just not challenging for headers inside their own penalty area, and I think that's certainly a place where we could beat Peterborough, is getting the ball out wide, getting crosses into the box, because their defenders just don't seem to pick up players inside the penalty area. They also had a 2-1 defeat away at Accrington Stanley. Again, really poor in this one, dominating possession, but just not being good enough in both boxes. It's been a big tale of Peterborough's season so far, conceding inside the opening 60 seconds seconds as well. It is just simply unacceptable. Before that match against Accrington, they had a 2-0 defeat at home to Luton Town. Again, 2 individual errors in this game. Luton having more possession, more shots on target. The first one is just such a simple corner and so sloppy from Peterborough, and the second one, obviously, the goalkeeper's trying to play out from the back, overplays, gets closed down, and eventually Luton come away from that game with a 2-0 victory. And they started out the season then with a 2-1 defeat away at Cardiff on the opening day, which is this game here. Obviously, they get a penalty, which is well converted by Bradley Ihomvane, who was told at the end of last season that he had no future at Peterborough, and now I'm pretty sure he started every game as a striker for them so far this campaign. But 2 well-taken goals from Colwill and Kapakiao in the second half, and it was total domination from Cardiff. Even Peterborough's goal did come against the run of play. They have been awful so far this campaign. Obviously, they've got Brandon Kayla as well. He was with the Bantams for the second half of last season, but I think now he would probably be 5th, maybe 6th choice central midfielder, and he's starting for Peterborough. We've recruited excellently over the summer. But this is still Bradford City we're talking about. Before we do go any further though with today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 120 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts down in the comment section down below. What would your starting 11 be for this match, and what is your score prediction as well? In terms of my starting 11 then, I would make a couple of changes from Tuesday. I would stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation, but it is nice to know that we can go to the 3-5-2 or the 3-4-1-2, whatever you want to call it, and have an extra man in midfield, and obviously go to 2 strikers at the top end of the pitch. But for now, I would stick with the 3-4-2-1. We just know that maybe going away from home against your Boltons and your Huddersfields, for example, we probably should try the 3-5-2 from the off. But in goal, I would stick with Sam Walker. He has been outstanding for the whole so far this season. I think he maybe could have done better with the Wickham goal on the opening day, but apart from that, he has been brilliant. And obviously in the summer, I personally said that I think we could maybe find better out there. How wrong I've been proved so far. Yes, it's only 4 or 5 games in, but he has had an excellent start to the League One campaign. On Tuesday against Stockport, made a number of very good saves. Obviously, the big one is in the last kick of the game, practically, where, yes, the striker should score. He's got 2/3 of the goal to aim at, but it is a great save from Sam Walker. He made 3 or 4 in the first half as well. Made a couple against Luton, made a fair few against Blackburn. He has just been very good. I think he's gone up a level since our promotion and absolutely has to start in between the sticks. In terms of my back 3 then, at right centre-back, I would stick with Matt Pennington. I think he has gone very under the radar so far this campaign. He's very solid, very consistent, just a 7 out of 10. On Tuesday, yes, the goal that we concede comes from kind of playing out from the back down his side, but I wouldn't particularly say that it was his fault why we conceded that goal. Apart from that though, I think on the whole he has had a solid start to the campaign, and I think he's just getting better and better slowly. He's just very, very consistent. In the middle of my back 3, I would bring in Aidan Baldwin. Obviously, he played on Saturday against Luton, was benched on Tuesday against Stockport. Obviously, he has recently returned from a suspension, and I think on Tuesday it made sense to go more physical. I don't necessarily think that Baldwin will struggle dealing with the threat and physicality of the Peterborough attack. So Baldwin, for me, better passing ability than somebody like a Kieran Kelly. And at left centre-back, I would stick with Curtis Till. Obviously, he played in the middle on Tuesday. We had Kieran Kelly, who I did think was a bit of a weak link on Tuesday. The number of times where he had a bit of time and he was just panicking on the ball, looked a little bit nervy, and I thought it was a bit of a contrast to his performance against Blackburn, where he was very solid on the whole in that game. So for me, the back 3 should be Pennington, Baldwin and Till. I think that's obviously, with us still not having Joe Wright available, I think that's the best 3 at this moment in time. In terms of my midfield 4 then, at right wing back, I would stick with Josh Nerfville. Again, on Tuesday, I thought was pretty solid at a 6 or 7 out of 10. I think he had a lot more of his defensive abilities on show in that one rather than his attacking abilities. I thought we saw him put in a fair few decent sliding challenges and all that sort of stuff. Didn't really see much of him going forward, and I don't think we've seen particularly loads from him going forward away from home so far this campaign. So it is maybe something to consider, but when you think about the pace and the trickery in that Peterborough attack, we're going to need Nerfville in that defence, and for me, he definitely should keep his place. I know there's been a bit of talk about Brad Halliday, but I think Halliday will probably get some minutes in the EFL Trophy at the beginning of September. I think it's Grimsby at home on the 2nd of September. I think Halliday will definitely play in that, and that's going to be his opportunity. When he gets that chance, he has to stake his claim and prove that he can make that step up into League One. In terms of my 2 central midfielders then, firstly I would go with the captain, Max Powell. power. Obviously, first half, pretty much everybody on the Bradford City team was nowhere near the levels that we've set, but second half I thought he really stood up, especially when we were 2-1 up. We were backs against the wall trying to defend. His leadership and organisation is brilliant, and I just think he has proved so far to be a big improvement on Richie Smalling in every aspect, and for me, when he's available, probably has to play every single league game this campaign. Partnering him, obviously we've got a fair few different options, but for me, I would bring in Alex Patterson. Obviously his game time has been pretty limited so far this season, but I just think he's got something in that position which no other player has in our team, and there's been talk from a few fans before the Stockport game saying, well, maybe Patterson could be moved on this summer, but for me, absolutely not. He is really important. Yes, he's now in the final year of his contract, but I think having more options in that position is going to keep him fresh and available. We're not going to overplay him, and he's not going to pick up, hopefully, any injuries this campaign, but I thought he really helped to change the game in the second half. I don't think Peterborough's midfield is necessarily physical, so we don't need Tommy Lee. Jensen Metcalf, I don't think was maybe any worse than anybody else in that first half on Tuesday, but I don't think he was particularly great, and when you've got a squad, you should use it. Patterson played well, so for me, he should get the start in this one. And at left wing back, I would stick with Ibu Toure. Again, just very solid, very reliable. I thought, again, consistent 7 out of 10, same as Pennington on Tuesday night, and for the majority of the season has been very good. And again, with the trickery and pace in that Peterborough attack, Toure's got that experience, very rarely gets beaten at 1v1. I don't think it's happened many times, if at all, so far this campaign. So whether it's is it Frith, the winger that they've got, or whether it's Lisby, whoever starts for Peterborough on that right hand side, they're going to have a tough test up against Ibu Toure. And as my front three, it was really hard to pick in all honesty, but firstly on the right hand side I would go with Anthony Sarcevic. I thought on the whole his performance against Stockport wasn't amazing. There was a few sloppy passes and sloppy touches, but he scored the winner, and I feel like Sarce is just a big game, a big moments player. He'll pop up with that goal every now and again, and obviously came off with a bit of cramp on Tuesday, but he should hopefully be fine for Saturday. He's, I think, the joint third top goal scorer in the entire division so far this campaign with 2. I mean, you've got Jamie Reid at Stevenage, who's already got 5 goals this season. I think some of our attacking players might not hit 5 goals this season. He's had a flying start, but Sarcevic, for me, I think he's just reliable, isn't he? Dependable. Wasn't amazing on Tuesday, but I think Sarce just gets better and better as the season does go on, and obviously needs to play to keep that up. And as my left attacking midfielder, I would stick with Bobby Point, and obviously he was subbed off at half-time on Tuesday, and I don't think he had a particularly great first half like a lot of the players. I do think we're seeing a bit of a pattern start to develop where Poynton is amazing and excellent at home, but then in some of these away games I don't think he's playing particularly well. I don't think he was great against Northampton, I don't think he was great against Stockport, but we all know the quality that is in Bobby Poynton, and look, we've got to remember he is still only 21, so he's not going to be a consistent 9 out of 10 every single week. I think he's certainly exceeded my expectations so far this campaign. I still do think he has, on the whole, had a really good start out to this campaign. Obviously he's got a couple of goals as well, so for me I would stick with him in that left number 10 position. And as my striker, again, I would stick with Stephen Humphries. You all know how big of a fan I am of Will Swan. I think he's had a great start to the season. He's now on 2 goals as well in all competitions, scored his first league goal on Tuesday night as well for the equaliser. But Humphries, for me, I just think he's just got that little bit about him where he'll bully that Peterborough backline. You know, you look at Akagbu and Nevitt. They might play Tom Lees, but they've signed him and he wasn't included in the matchday squad, or hasn't been included in a matchday squad since. Stephen Humphries, for me, I think he can use his physicality, use his half a yard of pace, and I see him scoring a couple of goals on Saturday, hopefully. I mean, my prediction is 1-0 Peterborough, but I could see a world where he does score a couple of goals on Saturday. I think that's the sort of game where he really will thrive, in my opinion. On the bench then for me, that would leave Joe Hilton, Kieran Kelly, Jensen Metcalf, Tommy Lee, George Lapsley, Tyreek Wright and Will Swan. The players currently unavailable are Neil Byrne, Joe Wright, Lewis Richards. Nick Powell is currently being treated as a rehab player and basically a player returning from injury, so he might not make the matchday squad on Saturday, but I'm thinking Stoke, Wimbledon, Grimsby, them sort of matches when we will see Powell hopefully be available. Callum Kavanagh is still a few weeks away and he's not even back out running on the grass at this moment in time, and obviously Andy Cook as well should be back in the next couple of months. So the players miss out then through selection will be Zach Hady, Brad Halliday, George Goodman, Clark Ador, Adam Wilson and Tyler Smith. We know we've had some offers for some of our players who we want to leave, so I would assume that be Wilson and Smith, but right now they're just turning them down, which I still can't get my head around. Go out, play in League League 2, take a bit of a pay cut, prove that you can do a job in League 2, get a load of goals and assists, and then you'll get your big move next summer on bigger wages than what you're currently on with Bradford City. But they just don't see it like that. They're going to do the Vid and Oliver thing where he's still unemployed, hasn't found a club, he'll end up in non-league on 500 quid a week. I just don't get it. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 120 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with my starting 11? Would you make any changes? And what is your score prediction for this match as well? Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.